Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good this morning. It's Wednesday. It's legitimately Wednesday today. I didn't film these yesterday. But anyways, short unit today, not very long. Your activity won't be very hard with this one. Then you'll get your assignment for tomorrow. I might post it later today or tonight if I actually get that video made. But other than that, you'll have it tomorrow. But anyways, before we get started, I do need to mention something with the alternative assignment. A lot of kids are doing the alternative assignment, which I think is fantastic because I'm seeing what you are doing outside of school here. There are a handful of you that I'm starting to question. Is the activity you're doing really taking that much effort? I mean, remember, the alternative assignment should be taking you at least, 20 minutes of your time. I have you for 30 minutes during the class period, so I do expect you to be doing that activity. So if it's only taking you 5 minutes, I'm going to say no to it. Find something else to do. I've been pretty open so far about the activities. Also, two people cannot be on the same text message email. So don't tell me that, oh, you went out with so-and-so and did this. It is not that hard to take a video or a photo and send me the explanation. Otherwise, I'll get rid of the alternative assignment. And trust me, some students will be upset with you, because I know there's a few kids that are doing a fantastic job with the alternative assignment, and I'm pretty sure they don't want it taken away because it kind of gives them a break from their other assignments. All right. Other than that, we are going to move in. It is springtime. It is warming up outside. Hopefully, we need to start thinking about, what gardeners and crop farmers need to do to get ready to seed their fields or plant their gardens. So today's lesson is going to be a little bit on prepping for planting. I'm going to share this document in Canvas and in the email, and then attach a little bit of an assignment to it. All right, so I like this article. It keeps it short, it keeps it simple, it gives us the what we need to know, and it doesn't add a lot of fluff in there, and I enjoy that. It comes from Progressive, Farm Progressive. They used to do a magazine, but that is one magazine that is no longer in print. It's gone completely to online. So I used to get this magazine, and I liked reading it. It is from Iowa, but them prepping for fields is the same way we prep for fields. And granted, this is going to talk about fields, but you would do the same concept, horticulture kids, if you were prepping your gardens for the springtime. All right, so this is basically 4 different steps. I'm going to grab my computer here. It talks about 4 different steps and what you have to do. Again, I'll link the article so that you can see it a little bit better, or I'll move the camera in here. So the first one talks about how you have to prep the soil. Prepping the soil is important in the sense of making sure that it is healthy. You got to make sure that when you're putting your seeds in the ground, that is going to be healthy soil. If you plant in a field or in a garden where the soil is not suitable for growing, nothing's going to happen, or very little is going to grow, and you just wasted a lot of money. Granted, garden seeds aren't that expensive, but those of you that have to plant wheat and corn and soybeans, we know those seeds, that's an expensive little oops in your farming life will not be, your banker probably won't be very happy with you either, especially if you had to take out a loan to purchase the seeds. And some farmers do have to take out loans. So the first thing is making sure that your soil is healthy. And we do that by taking soil samples, sending them in. I guess if you're an agronomist yourself as a farmer, you could probably do your own test, but I don't know too many farmers that have their own soil testing. So a lot of farmers will send it in, or they'll have an agronomist come out and test the soil for them. So that's going to be, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow, is we're going to be doing a little bit of soil testing. Just simple soil testing, nothing too difficult here because of just what I have available here at the school. All right, so the second thing that we need to consider is then you have to select the seed that you want to plant. Granted, okay, you want to plant corn, but what variety of corn do you want? What company do you want? You're thinking about what's the end product going to be. Are you going to sell to an ethanol plant? Are you going to contract with a food company? Is your corn just going to be fed to your livestock? All of that needs to be taken into consideration when selecting your seed. Also, when garden, sweet corn. If we wanted to stay with corn, what type of sweet corn do you want? Do you want fast maturing sweet corn? Do you want more, I don't know the proper term, juicy sweet corn? Do you want bigger cobs, smaller cobs? Again, what do you want in your garden? If you're a farmer's market, and you have these big gardens, what does your customers want for? So again, selecting the seed. What is the greatest potential you can get out of that seed when you plant it? So second thing that farmers can start to consider is what they are going to plant. And a lot of them, again, they will talk to their agronomists. A lot of farmers have agronomists that will come out and help them select the seed that's best for that soil. Again, that soil test is going to tell you what you should be planting there so that you get the greatest potential out of that field. All right. Third thing is your fertilizer. What type of fertilizer do you want to apply to that field? Okay. Are you going to was it applied last fall? Or are you going to apply it as you seed? Sometimes farmers will use the air seeder. They have a tank of seed and they have a tank of fertilizer. So are they applying it or are they going to broadcast it afterwards? Or are they going to broadcast it before? So all of that has to be into consideration of when you are going to fertilize. And what type of fertilizer? Again, your soil test. So the very first thing that we have to do is prep the soil, is take that soil. That soil test is going to determine what we need for fertilizer. Okay? So you want to make sure you add the correct fertilizer so that you're not wasting money. If you add fertilizer that's going to do no good to the soil, it's going to do no good to the plant, you wasted money. There are a lot of times farmers apply fertilizer and it did nothing because they didn't do a soil test, they didn't talk to an agronomist, and they just applied because you know what? That's what they always do. It doesn't always work. Just because you did it last year doesn't mean you're going to do it this year. You have certain crops, for example, corn will suck nitrogen out, so you need to probably put more nitrogen in. Some plants add nitrogen back in, especially if you're planting like peas and stuff, they'll put nitrogen back into the soil. So depending on what you had in there last year, soil test will determine what type of fertilizer you need to add to that field or that garden. You should be doing the same thing with your garden. You should be soil testing. If you went down to Handy Hardware, that's what we're going to be using tomorrow because that's what I can get, is they have little soil testing kits for you, and just test the soil that way. All right. And the final thing that this article is going to be talking about is we need to prep our equipment. And that's probably what a lot of farmers are doing right now. That's what a lot of you are doing right now, because you are sending me a photo or a description of something that you're working with your family on prepping your equipment for farming. So you have to prep your equipment in the sense of making sure everything's greased. You got to make sure, especially the shovels, if the shovels are bad on a cultivator, you're replacing those. You're making sure that the air seeder, if you're using an air seeder, are all the valves good? Are the connections good? Are the other ports that take the soil are not filled in with something? Mice love to get into the smallest little areas. Checking your fertilizer, your sprayer. You're doing all of prepping your equipment to make sure that it is ready to go. So when that soil warms up to the temperature that it needs to be, and again, the temperature of the soil determines the crop that you are growing. That's but right now it is way too cold and way too wet to be planting anything right now. But anyways, so those are the 4 things that you need to prep to get ready for planting. And so your assignment for this activity is, it's going to have 2 things again involved in it. First of all, write me one takeaway or reflection that you learned from reading this or listening to the video. So you can either do an email or on Canvas. So one takeaway. So like a couple sentences is all I really need. All right. Second thing is, if you respond by email, which I don't have a problem with, if you are responding by email, you must hit just reply. I am still getting people who are hitting reply all, and then everyone gets your response. Everyone else doesn't care, okay? So if you are doing it by email and if you hit reply all, you will lose some points today. Hit reply. No one else should see what you wrote because no one else cares. And that becomes important because in the future, if you get an email and you want to voice your opinion back to your boss, but you don't want everyone else in the email to see it, and you accidentally hit reply all, everyone's going to read what you wrote. And especially if you're complaining about a coworker, they will know. And trust me, I've done that. It's not a fun when you have to deal with an angry coworker plus your boss. So in the end, just hit reply if you're going to email it to me. Those of you that just reply back in Canvas, we never have that issue because no one else sees your answers. So everyone, have a great Wednesday, and we'll do some type of lab tomorrow. So take care.